Hey everyone, it's Deontay Chantel, real estate developer and entrepreneur, and the host of the Journey to Develop Her podcast. Thank you all for coming on, hanging out with me. I just wanted to do this live. I thought it was very important. There's a lot of great programs going on right now, and it's not your typical way of buying real estate. So, we're going to go over amazing programs right now, funding programs. Okay, there's literally programs where there's no money down, there's programs where it's a 1% down, there's down payment assistance options throughout the country. And we're going to talk to you how you can find out where they are, what they cover, what income requirements they may have for you. And we're also going to talk about where to find properties. I think that's what everybody wants to know, where you can actually find property, right? I'll tell you a little bit about how I got started. For those who do know me and you have been listening to the podcast, I just want to say thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for supporting me and allowing me to share, right, my journey with you on how I became a real estate developer, how I am developing communities, and also how God is developing me, right? So, if y'all remember from the early episodes, I did do some faith based episodes as well on the podcast, and those are coming back very soon. As I tell you my personal business, you'll be able to grow with God as well. So, with that being said, the podcast has been showing my real estate journey. We also tap into other developers' journeys throughout the countries as well. And I'm just really excited to what you guys will be seeing over the next couple of months. We'll be introducing vlogs. You'll get to see my real estate development projects. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you share this channel with everyone that you know. And make sure you're following me on Instagram. They're actually showing on Instagram what's happening with the 5 houses that I'm building right now. Okay. I got to update YouTube, but Instagram is showing you guys what I'm doing right now in Newark, New Jersey, in East Orange, New Jersey. And we're actually almost done with one house, actually 2 houses. So, yeah, I'm going to bring you up to speed. We're going to do a vlog very soon. Um, and we also have some additional projects that we're working on in the state of New Jersey. I can't spill the details yet, but when we announce it, you're all going to be happy for me and, may want to contribute or come on board with me as well. But with that being said, today we're going to be talking about how you can get started in real estate, the best ways you should be buying real estate right now in 2023, all of the options that's out there. For those who do know me, I started out in this business in 2011 as a realtor in New York City. Then I went into real estate law. So I became a real estate paralegal. And then ultimately I got into investment. Now, my strategy for investment with $0 was wholesaling. Okay. So by the grace of God, I was able to go from a wholesaler to a developer. Okay. And I'm going to say with no money. This all started with no money. This all started with motivation. This all started with me having to feed a 2-year old who didn't ask to be here, right? So I had to make sure she was fed. I had to make sure that I could be a provider for her. I was a newly single mother at the time. I think me and her dad just broke up. And I had just got laid off from a job. So that's how I got started. I didn't allow fear to kick in. I didn't allow defeat to kick in. I just said, let me learn this business and get started. Let me go. Let me get going. Let's get it done. Right. So I know, and I have hope for all of you that you can also do. I have the faith that you all can do it also. Things have changed, of course. Real estate is changing. And while it is changing, before we don't know what's to come, but before it changes drastically, I would encourage all of you to listen to myself, right, with these directions, especially if you're in the northern New Jersey area. Listen to what I'm saying. Tap into these programs that are available. Find your best realtors, people that know how to negotiate and know this business, right? But I'm going to say this before we get started: learn the business. You cannot even depend on your realtors to have your best interests, right? They may not know investing, but they know how to sell property. So I encourage you to start reading, getting audiobooks on real estate investing. If you say you want to be a landlord, or you want to own multiple properties, or you want to do passive income, or if you want to be a real estate developer, I'm going to say put in that work. Go read, go do your research, go learn how to analyze deals. We're not going to be talking about analyzing deals today. We're going to keep it very broad, or basic, we'll say. And we're not going to talk about analyzing deals. That's something I do want to speak on a future podcast. I do want to talk about that on a future podcast because it's very important. Even when you're going to buy your first home, okay? Even as a first-time home buyer or a homeowner of an investment property, even if it's a small one-door, two-door type of property, single family or two-family type of unit, you should know about operating expenses. You should know how to, self-manage, or how to even find a property manager to help you. But the numbers have to make sense. The math has to math. I hate to say ghetto slangs, but the math has to math, right? It has to make sense. And sometimes a realtor may not know, right? But between the realtor and the loan originator, or the person that's getting you the mortgage, they might be able to share some insight, but you don't want to depend on their expertise, because at the end of the day, you're a sale. You're a person buying a house, and you're a person buying a mortgage or buying a note, right? You're buying an interest rate. So you're just a consumer to these people, and you want to make sure you know what you're doing. Because after that sale is done, those people are gone on with their life. You have to pay your mortgage. The numbers have to make sense. You need to know what you can afford as a homeowner. And before we go forward, drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, okay? Because I hope y'all can hear me. I'm not used to this. I'm used to Instagram. So drop a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Drop a 2 in the chat if you do not own any real estate at all. Drop a 3 in the chat if you do own real estate already and you're looking to buy more real estate. I just want to know who's doing what. I just want to know who's doing what. And I think I can see who's commenting below. So you'll be able to ask questions. I would say hold the questions towards the end so I don't get unorganized with my thoughts, because sometimes that happens. So I see a 2. I only see 1, 2, which is fine. I only see 1, 2. Okay. So, and also let me know where you're checking in from. What state are you in? Because we are going to be talking about some things that are happening in my neck of the woods. Again, I'm in East Orange, New Jersey, but we're actually going to be focusing on what's happening in Newark, New Jersey, and what's coming potentially to Irvington, New Jersey. Okay. So Newark recently, and this is the first topic, Newark recently announced publicly that they're selling houses for $1. And I know everybody's like, that must be a scam. Like, that might be a lie. There must be some caveat to it. And there is some caveat to it. These options, these housing program options, will be for individuals that currently live in Newark. Now, I did call the city because I do have some connections up there. And I'm going to give you guys the number where you can call them to and ask your questions. But I did ask them, I'm like, hey, what if you used to live in Newark and you no longer live in Newark? Are you qualified to get this house for $1? And they said yes. As long as it's not more than 3 years, you should be able to potentially buy a house through the program. And that's what they said. Don't quote me on it. Y'all can call and yell at them if they change their mind. But in all reality, they really would like people that are currently living in Newark to take advantage of the program. So they are selling houses for $1. These houses will be houses that are distressed, meaning they need a rehab. Okay, so you're buying properties that are distressed for $1. Now, you will have to fix the home. You will have to also live in the property as well. Now, I believe you might have to live in a property for 10 years. 10 years you will have to live in this property. Okay, so I mean, you're buying a house for $1 and you need to live in the property for 10 years. The next thing is they're working with the NACA program. NACA.com is where you can go find more information on NACA. And I'm going to tell you some details about NACA right now as well. But they're working with the NACA program. So the NACA program will be giving you a renovation loan to actually rehab the property that you will be living in. Okay. Some of the requirements for NACA and for this dollar program for the house is that you cannot earn more than $116,000, which I think is a great income standard. So if you make $116,000 and less, you qualify for this $1 house program. Okay. It could be worse. I've seen it where you can only make $50,000, but they're saying you cannot earn more than $116,000 and you can still get this house for $1. That's amazing. So everybody knows about the NACA program. Well, you should know anyway, because they require zero money down for their homes. They also don't require any down payment assistance. Any down payments, right? They don't require any closing costs. They don't require any credit score requirements. So it's pretty much this great organization that is pretty much saying, hey, we're looking at you on an application based on your character, based on we believing that everybody should be able to take advantage of being a homeowner in this country. Right? Literally, that's like one of their missions. They just want everybody to become homeowners. They do have some restrictions when it comes to debt to income ratios, which the other loan programs have as well. I don't know exactly what that is, but they'll tell you once you apply, before they even say, hey, we will now start to counsel you, because you have to go through a home buyer counseling program with them as well. They'll let you know, like, hey, you have maxed out all of your credit cards. We're going to need you to start paying down your credit cards. So they'll let you know where you need to be. I just don't work for them, so I don't have that information in front of me at the moment. But it can, if anybody wants their checklist, I can send you an email with their checklist. What you would just do is go to the link in my bio and send me the word, or you can link in my bio on Instagram and send me the word NACA, NACA, and I'll be able to get your email and I'll send you over the checklist. Or you could just go to NACA.com and look through their website and get your own checklist. You can do that too, right? But make a long story short, another requirement that I noticed the NACA program had was you did have to save or have a reserve of at least $2,500 to $3,000, which is not bad. That's not a lot of money that you need to have saved. Okay. They do require that you are not a current homeowner. Okay. You don't have to be a first-time homeowner, but you can't be like a homeowner that has like another primary residence at the moment. Right. Now, I know some people that have the NACA program and they also have investment properties, and they're able to do both because the investment properties are not in their personal name. Just gonna put that little loophole in there. Not wishy, but there's loopholes for a lot of things. Okay. They don't want to see any other properties in your personal name at the time of the loan. So keep that in mind. But if you are an investor, if you have a portfolio, but you don't have a primary residence, you can take advantage of it, as long as your income is under that $116,000 for the Newark program. Now, whether or not it's in Newark, New Jersey or not, NACA is in all 50 states. So you can be in California, you could be in Alaska, you could be in Hawaii. The NACA program will fund your house, and the income requirements are different. I've seen them fund houses up to like $700,000, right? So this would also work in New York City. I don't know where, but most places in New York City, this will work for as well. And the number for the NACA program Newark office, okay? I'm going to give you the Newark office in the event that you want to take advantage of the $1 house program. That number is 973-679-2601, okay? Otherwise, you go to NACA, NACA.com. You go find out what the number is for the office that is nearest your home. and you go set up an appointment. Whatever they ask you to do, you do it. All right. Um, Also, when it comes to this dollar program, let's see. They're also willing, Newark is willing to sell a house for $1 to those who have been recently displaced due to gentrification. How that process works, you want to contact Newark, the Economic Development Department, and or NACA for them to tell you exactly what they want to prove that you have been displaced, because I don't know what else they would require or what proof they would need. But I'm sure they'll want to see lease. They want to see, like, your rent is too high, um, things of that nature. But in all reality, it's really for people in Newark so they don't be placed out due to gentrification, due to, the others coming in, buying up the city, raising the rents, doing illegal evictions, cutting off people's water, cutting off people's electricity. It's been crazy stuff going on in Newark. To be vindictive, to get the lower tenants, the lower rent tenants to get out, right? So Newark, the mayor Ras Baraka, he's been doing a great job as to preserving the city of Newark for their legacy tenants. All right. So that's all I have to say on the $1 program. For Irvington, New Jersey, they should be, or they may be, introducing a program similar to this. There was a ad about $1 houses for Irvington. I don't have all the details for that yet, but be on the lookout if you're from Irvington, New Jersey. I'm sure it's going to be a very similar program. I'm sure it's probably going to be with NACA. Okay. So for those who don't know, Journey to Developer has partnered with Rocket Mortgage and another bank, actually directly with Allied First Bank. And we're offering through Rocket Mortgage 1% down loans. Okay. Someone asks, is there any dollar houses in Connecticut? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Maybe they'll start to emulate this Newark program. Hopefully. I would love for them to do that. Right now, the only thing I know about Connecticut is that they have maybe one or two land banks out there, and they have been selling properties for under 20,000. You do have to submit a RFP or RFQ as a investor, developer, or contractor, and then they allow you to be chosen. That's what I remember, because I was about to go through the process, and they want you to sell the properties to first-time home buyers. That's the only thing I know about Hartford Land Bank specifically. Okay. And we're going to talk about land banks, what I've seen with the different land banks that I've contacted in a few. But I just want to go back to the Rocket Mortgage 1% loan. I believe it's called the One Plus loan. And if you need help with that loan specifically, you can contact me. I can help you process it. I will be helping you with that particular loan. So what Rocket Mortgage is doing is they're requiring a buyer, as long as a home is $350,000 and less, they're able to give you 1% towards your down payment assistance. Okay. Typically, down payment assistance, I'm sorry, a loan, right? The down payment for a loan is about 3%. So they're giving you 1%, or they're requiring you to put down 1%, but going to give you 2% in grants themselves. Like, they're literally going to give you 2% in grants, Rocket Mortgage. That particular program, you can combine it with other down payment assistance programs that any municipality throughout the country may have. Any closing cost assistance programs that are throughout the country, you can combine it. So even if you can't buy a house in Connecticut for $1, Rocket Mortgage is going to say, hey, we can structure this loan where it's 1% down for a buyer, as long as it's under it's under $350,000, right? We're going to give you a 2% grant, and then you can still combine it. You can grant stack is what I like to call it. You can grant stack with the municipalities that may have a homeowner down payment assistance program option, and then they may also have a closing costs grant. Okay, but Rocket Mortgage only wants you to really come with 1% out of your pocket. All right. So I think that's a great program as long as the house is $350,000 and below. And how you would qualify for those type of loans, even with NACA, all of these, you still will need the 2 years tax returns. So those restrictions don't change. You still need to have a 2-year work history. You still need to have 2 months bank statements. You still need to have prove your income, basically. They're not saying, hey, you don't have a job, but we're still going to give you a mortgage. No, you still have to show that you are a qualified buyer. Okay? Just want to put that out there. When we're Rocket Mortgage, there will be some type of debt to income ratio. So they want to see how much debt that you're not paying at this moment, or lines of credit that you may have, credit cards you may have that you maxed out. If it is maxed out, they're going to say, hey, you must meet a debt to income ratio in order for us to process the loan. You may have to pay down a credit card, whatever is required. And we'll get into that once we get your application. We'll be able to pull your credit. We'll be able to see what's going on. Now, the credit requirements, okay? I believe, well, I'm certain you have to have at least a 600 credit score for the 1% down, but they will go as low as a 580. All right. They will go as low as a 580. Now, for those who are in real estate, y'all know right now the mortgage rates are high, really, really high. I don't know what the rate was today, but the last time I checked, it was about 6.75, 7%. It might be over that. I don't know what it is today. I really didn't look, y'all. So, but it's in that range. So now paying for higher interest rates. And this is why you want to buy correctly. I would encourage everybody to buy at least a 2-family house or a single family home that has a bonus unit that you can at least start to, collect income from, right? That's my recommendation for everybody. Okay. Make sure that you at least have extra space, if it is a single family home, that you can rent out to a tenant to earn extra income. But ultimately, I would recommend a 2-family home across the board. It doesn't even matter the market. That's what I would recommend. You don't want to buy properties that are not generating income at this point. Okay, it's mandatory. All right. Now, I can go into ways where you can monetize a single family home too, but that's not this is not the podcast right now to be talking about that. That's going to be for a future podcast, actually. Another thing I want to mention is land banks, right? So Kimona mentioned Connecticut. Connecticut has definitely 1 or 2 land banks, one definitely in Hartford, but there's land banks. There's over 200 land banks throughout the country. Newark has one. Atlantic City has one. Of course, everybody knows about Detroit, Michigan. You have some upstate New York. We have Rochester Land Bank. We have Syracuse Land Bank. We have even Los Angeles, California has a land bank. Like, there's a lot of different land banks throughout the country. They all are very different. Okay. Hey, Mackenzie. So a land bank, all right, is a nonprofit organization that typically works with the municipality to store or to organize or to sell off abandoned and distressed properties. Typically, these are properties that have been foreclosed on. These are properties that are not monetizing for the city, right? The city has to make sure they're kept. They have to make sure they're boarded up. They have to make sure it's not a hazard to the community. They have to make sure no one's trying to hurt or harm anybody in these properties. So they have to have a team on board just to manage or do preservation for these properties. So ultimately, these cities, it's costing them money to maintain these land bank properties or these abandoned or distressed properties. So they're trying to get rid of them, basically. It's a real estate bank of properties from a nonprofit and or municipality that is just trying to get rid of them. But for now, until somebody buys them, they're preserving them. They're doing property preservation. They have teams in place to make sure that it's not a hazard to their community. Okay. So that's my best example for a land bank. And it's a resource for people who, like myself, I don't like to spend a lot of money on real estate. I like to pay cheap prices, right? So investors, developers, contractors, even homeowners can go and buy these properties for cheap, and they can live in the properties and or just make sure they are rebuilding and redeveloping the properties to put back into the community. Okay. So for instance, let's use Syracuse as an example. They have a program with their land bank where if you buy a property from the land bank, depending on the property you choose, they have an option where you have to live in the property. Newark, New Jersey also, they have a setup where you have to live in the property. But Syracuse also have a program under their land bank where you don't have to live in the property. So myself, I would be interested in that option because I don't want to live in Syracuse, but I want to make sure I'm rehabbing the property, I'm fixing it up, and then I'm repositioning or presenting it back to the community for affordable housing, for, Section 8 tenants, for whoever, right? I'm thinking about doing group homes. So whoever I decide to rent it out to bring value to the community, I do have that option without me living in the property. Okay. So you just have to do your research. You have to see what land banks are requiring, whatever they're requiring, and you kind of work around what they want. Okay. Atlantic City has one as well. We do see a lot of celebrities buying up in Atlantic City. A lot. Atlantic City is about to be real lit. Okay. I'm even about to get some things out there, and I'm kind of excited about. So you want to go to I would just Google Atlantic City Land Bank. I would call them, see, hey, how can I bid on properties? How can I buy properties? I'm a developer that or an investor that want to invest in Atlantic City, and let them know, like, hey, this is what you like doing. You want to make sure people have luxury, affordable units, and they will love to hear from you. So that's like the hack. That's the lingo when you're calling to acquire by properties. They just want to know that you're gonna want to take Section 8. You want to rebuild the community. You want to have a blueprint or a stamp or imprint in the community. And those are the things, that's their love language, let's just say. Okay. That's how you pull on their heartstrings. But those are the things you do need to be passionate about. Okay. Now I'm not just telling you what to say to butter politicians up, but you do need to want to genuinely rebuild these community, be a service to people from those communities, and execute, basically. Because when you buy the land or buy the property, you have a limited amount of time to get it done, or else they'll come and take it back from you. All right. So keep that in mind. Now, if you want to know how to find this land bank map, there is a website, and realistically, all you need to put in on Google is land bank map, National Land Bank map, and it's gonna pop up like the first or second link. If you want me to send you the link, again, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll send you the link directly. I should have had it ready, but it's not ready. My apologies. But it's definitely a resource that I would encourage all you to look into. Even Atlanta, Georgia has a land bank. Like they have the Metro Atlanta Land Bank, and they have a website, and it has hundreds of properties in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so everybody's like, hey, I can't find a good deal. You probably cannot find a good deal because you're not utilizing land banks right now, and I encourage you to do so. I definitely encourage you to do so. Any questions so far? Let me know if you have any questions. Just going to make sure I'm hitting all my points as well. Oop. Let me know if you have any questions. I need to go on this link really quick. Okay. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about, since no one has any questions, is mindset. Okay. I feel like everybody who has been working the last 2 years and are qualified for a house whether it's through these programs I'm telling you about, land banks or whatever, should be buying property. Even if you're not sure the direction of real estate, the economy, right? Myself, I need to be buying before this year's over at least 20 units minimum. All right. So, with that being said, I would not go into real estate investing or home ownership with any fear at all. And if you listen to what I said before, I said definitely buy something with some income, right? A property that you can produce income from is your best bet to be safe. All right. That's my recommendation. I don't think we might see a decrease with the economy, but we really don't know. But one thing we're not going to see anytime soon is a decrease with rents. Okay. And what I also would say is, as a homeowner looking to be a landlord, looking to house hack, meaning you're living in one unit and renting out another unit, you want to, and this is my opinion. I've always said this. I can take it which I want to take it with. But I would always recommend going after individuals with vouchers, even if you live in the property. I know you're like, what? Yes, even if you're living in the property, you want to go after individuals who have Section 8 vouchers or any other type of voucher that's out there. Okay. We all seen what happened in COVID. Cash tenants were not able to pay their rent. Okay. I even had all of the top investors throughout the country calling me like, hey, do you have any voucher tenants? Like the people that didn't want to take vouchers, they was blowing my phone up. Okay. Even asking me to help them evict people. I'm like, listen, you was discriminating on voucher tenants. And, you kind of have to deal with that because I was trying to get you voucher tenants, right? So I encourage everybody, if you're living in the house or not, make sure you have guaranteed income by dealing with Section 8 tenants and or any other type of housing vouchers that are available. You still need to screen your tenants thoroughly, but you definitely want to stay in that category. I wouldn't go out of the voucher tenants. Okay? Because this economy is very shaky. Anybody could lose their job at any moment. I've lost many of jobs. There's no job security, right? But one thing we do know for sure is that the government, they're more than likely going to pay those Section 8 vouchers every month. Okay, so that's my one recommendation. You may also want to get a property management company involved. You definitely want to probably have a super or some type of handyman on deck, so you don't have to worry about fixing toilets or whatever, right? You could just call somebody. So those are some things I would recommend if you are going to become a landlord, if you are going to house hack. Okay. So don't go into this fear. Real estate is the number one way to build wealth. It's the number one way to become a millionaire. You have better odds at becoming a millionaire through real estate than hitting the lotto. So it's something that I would encourage all of you to look into and educate yourself on. Okay. Some books I do recommend for education for real estate is from the Rich Dad series. Now, fun fact, I never finished reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Once I got the concept, I just started executing. That's one thing about me. Once I understand a little piece of something, I'm out here executing. But the Rich Dad Poor Dad series has an investment series about real estate. So they have like a book on like real estate loopholes. I would recommend reading that. Another one I read in its full entirety was the ABCs of real estate investing. That book, I recommend you go find it on audible.com. You go buy it on amazon.com. You might be able to even hear it play on YouTube for free. But that's something I would do immediately. Okay. With these housing programs that I mentioned, NACA, and even with the Rocket Mortgage 1% down loan, you do have to do a home buyer's workshop of 8 hours. They will also educate you on what to look out as a homeowner. They're not going to talk about investing, but they are going to tell you what to expect as a homeowner, the pros and the cons, your responsibilities, etc. So don't feel like, hey, I don't have any information on how to become a homeowner. They're going to teach you and coach you when you go to get your loan. Okay. Of course, we know there's the FHA loans where it's 3.5% down. There's the VA loan. So if you are a veteran with the United States military, you also have the option to have a 0% down payment loan as well. If you are buying homes in a USDA area, you qualify for the USDA loan. That's also 0% down. So for that, you would go to USDA.com. If you want more details about that, just let me know. I can also fund those deals. So this is what I'm telling you to contact me. And then I can also guide you on what you need to do. And I will be recommending people to realtors in all 50 states as well. So I'm going to also help you work with the best realtor. Of course, you'll be working with the best lender here. And we're going to have a good old time. Okay. Another way you can buy a home. Now, some people like myself, I don't want to live in a house that is not brand new. Okay. So we also have loans out there with my bank for ground up construction. All right. So we have loans to 20K, 203K loans as well, where you'll be able to do rehabs. But we also have loans where you'll be able to buy a plot of land, and then we'll give you the money to build your house that you're going to be living in. That's the key. It has to be a home that you will be owner occupying. That means you will be living there. All right. But we'll give you the money to buy the land as well as the money to buy or to pay the builders to build your home. And you can, for those, you can also put down 0 to 5% down. So if you're a VA qualified individual, if you're a USDA qualified individual, it will be 0% down on those loans. If you qualify for FHA, it will be 3.5%. And then, of course, we also have conventional loans, which is anywhere between 3 to 5% down. You would also be able to use down payment assistance with those loans as well. Okay. So again, I already can tell you back, Newark has a down payment assistance program for $20,000 to $25,000. Okay. Throughout this country, there's loans. There's programs just like that. Detroit has like a $15,000 to $20,000 down payment assistance program. So throughout this country, there's different down payment assistance program and also closing cost grant programs as well. So I actually have a whole list of those throughout the country. So again, if you want me to share that with you, I can. Just reach out to me. All right. Let me know, hey, I need that list throughout the country. And not every lenders work with a down payment assistance, but I work with down payment assistance programs. I actually am an advocate for down payment assistance. I feel like save your coins if you can. All right. Anybody has any questions? Because we're about to actually hang up. We're about to hang up. I hope this was helpful. We can get on a call if you're interested in funding or any questions about real estate. I'm also funding investment properties as well, and also developer projects. So if you're not building a house for yourself and you want to become a developer, we can entertain funding options for you as well. And I'll break that down on a call. I'll probably do another podcast this week specifically talking about development and investment funding. But this lab was really for people that are looking to live in their homes that they're buying. So first-time home buyer programs or home buyer programs in particular. And but if you're looking for investment properties and portfolios, Airbnb lending, all of that stuff, we do offer that as well. Okay. All right. So I don't see any questions. So I'm going to assume that I don't have any. But I do love you all. Thank you for supporting. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you're looking to get into real estate development, we do have a live masterclass on August 23rd. It's going to be the Zero to Developer Masterclass Live Rooftop Edition. We're going to have all of the top developers in the city of Newark, New Jersey, and East Orange in the building. We might have somebody from another state as well coming to pour into you. I'll be pouring into you. I'm going to be sharing the creative ways I became a developer. Your girl didn't have any development or ground up experience. I did have investment experience, so I was able to leverage that. So I'm all about leverage and partnerships. And I was able to do it. You guys should be able to get it done too. So we'll be going over that at the event in person. That's going to be on Wednesday, August 23rd, 6 to 10 p.m. If you're interested in coming, send me a DM so I can shoot over the link when it's available, because we didn't release the tickets yet. And it's only going to be room for 50 people. Okay. It's going to be a private, exclusive rooftop event. And it's going to be really grown and really sexy. Okay. So you really don't want to miss it. All right. So Vanessa Morgan, thank you. I'm glad this was helpful. Realtors out here, definitely let's stay in contact. Let's figure out how we can do business together, especially since I'm a mortgage broker as well. So we can definitely get some deals done for your clients. And if I have clients that need a realtor, I can pass them over to you. It's a win-win for everybody. Okay. So make sure you share this podcast episode with everybody you know. Make sure you share the podcast itself with everybody you know. We will be doing some developer diary segments where I'm basically telling y'all my business, my personal business. I'll be sharing my journey to Jesus, my journey with Jesus as I navigate through my spiritual development life, and of course, my real estate development life. All right. So love you all. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned for so much more. Bye. Have a blessed night.